So, some of the key themes that students will engage with around the Masters is the key thing we're going to come on to talk about now. And one of the major themes that obviously interests all of us and will hopefully interest our students when they come to study with us is thinking about how policymakers use knowledge at multiple levels of governance. What constitutes knowledge? What constitutes evidence and the relationship between evidence and public policy? One of the major issues that students will get to interrogate is the dynamics of knowledge and how that influences decision making. But as part of that process, we have to understand power and the context of power dynamics. What shapes knowledge? What shapes the evidence that is used in public policy? So for us, during the Masters programme, that's what we try and teach our students, is about thinking outside of the box, thinking about the complex nature of policy processes at different levels of government. We can't look at Scottish public policy, UK public policy, or even European public policy in isolation. We're living in a globalised age, and students will actually get the opportunity to engage with a lot of the debates around the extent to which globalisation has been a good thing for policy making, how that influences how decision makers operate, and how that links with wider issues around global governance. Maria, do you want to say a few things about that theme?
Yes, I think this is why we are seeing governments now adopting more of an outcome-focused approach to policy making, exactly because the role of evidence is so important, and it's really important for public bodies to put in place robust evaluation frameworks that can enable them to evidence the effectiveness of their policies, because a lot of data is being collected, but a lot of it is very much focused on processes a lot of the time and not necessarily on outcomes. So I think our students will develop a critical understanding, as you said, John, of what constitutes evaluative evidence, and they will also learn how to develop robust frameworks so that they can help public bodies evaluate the effectiveness of the policies that they deliver.
Yeah, no, just to add to that, I think that's really important. The students here will learn about the different knowledge requirements of policymakers at different levels and the demands of knowledge. So at an operational level, a completely different type of knowledge may be required than, for example, at a strategic level, where indeed it might be more about the outcomes, and sometimes these two don't really mix very well with each other. That there are demands around operational technical aspects, around absorption of funds and things, and actually the outcomes of a policy kind of get are considered less important or get snowed under a little bit. So it'll become crucial to try and understand these different demands of knowledge and the importance, as you said, of evaluative knowledge and how that can be used. We can evaluate different things, as you said. We can focus on efficiency and we can focus on effectiveness. You really have to question yourself at what time of a policy cycle or of a program cycle do we need what type of knowledge, and how do we integrate that then into the policy?
Absolutely. It's an interesting point, this idea of the contestability of evidence and knowledge, and the fact that evidence itself can be socially constructed and be quite political in many senses. Because one of the things that public administrators might want to do, so those that might want to come study a Masters in Public Administration or other courses which have a keen policy analysis dimension to them, is to kind of unpack what constitutes policy success versus failure. But if we're saying the evidence itself is not one thing, it can be contested, what does that mean for evaluating the success and failure of public policy? Is it the case that policies are either successful or not, or is it more a case of a kind of combination of success and failure? And what indicators do you use for establishing that? So our students that study our Masters programme will be enabled to interrogate those discussions, but also gravitate those discussions towards particular case studies of interest to them. One of the things that we want to ensure with the Masters is that students feel that they can do useful activities during their master's projects and in the master's process, learn about research methodology, how to conduct evaluations and so on. But at the same time, we have to be led by the student as well. Students will want to bring to the table what they are interested in and what might help them when it comes to their own careers as well. So with the master's programme, we very much enable that discussion and flexibility around what we do.